Hi, welcome to Tiny Teacup Reads. Thank you for being here. Look, I love a big, chunky book, a book that delves deep into the characters and the world building and the plots, and that consumes you for days or even weeks at a time. And one day I will make a video about all of those books, but other times you're just in the mood for something quick to breeze through. Maybe you're trying to get out of a reading slump, or you only have an afternoon of free time. And this video is about those books. So here are 12 recommendations for books that are under 300 pages long. Quick disclaimer, of course, the exact amount of pages a book has will depend on the edition that you have, but my point is that these are all short books. I'm going to start with a book that I haven't had the opportunity to talk about before, and it is A Long Way Down by Nick Hornby. This is the same author that wrote About a Boy, which you might know him from. This book is 260 pages long, and it has such an interesting premise. It is New Year's Eve, and four very different people coincidentally meet on the top of a rooftop, all with the same intention. And yes, that intention is dark, and you should check the content warnings before reading this book. But despite that subject matter, it is a really uplifting book about four very different people from different situations who come together and help each other out and go on a journey together that changes all of them. And I really ended up rooting for all of these characters and the relationships that they developed with each other. Next up are two books by the same author. If you've read anything by Ian McEwan, it's probably the book Atonement, but that's a little chunky, so we're not going to be discussing it here. Instead, I'm going to introduce you to Nutshell and On Chesil Beach. Nutshell is a grand total of 208 pages long, and it has a very unique narrator. It is told from the perspective of an unborn baby. Now that alone already makes this really interesting, and to see the world how he sees it, but it also quickly becomes apparent that the mother, along with her lover, is plotting against the child's father. The prose in this is gorgeous, so that alone makes it worth reading for me. On Chesil Beach is even shorter with 166 pages. It is set in the 1960s and tells the story of a young man and woman on their wedding night, which doesn't go as planned for either of them. Edward is very much excited to get this night going, while Florence has been dreading this. This is very much a character-driven story, and there were plenty of times when I wanted to grab the two characters and yell at them to just communicate openly and honest with each other, but of course that is not the point of this book. Like all of Ian McEwan's books, this is beautifully written. It is very frustrating at times to read it, but I love that it is a snapshot of two people at a very defining moment in their lives. Next up is a book that I heard a lot about when the TV show first came out, and then it kind of seemed to fall off the radar, and that is The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. It is 258 pages long and focuses on Beth, who is an orphan and a chess genius, and it follows the rise and fall of her career as she battles addiction, difficult family dynamics, as well as the pressures of being a child prodigy. If you've watched the show, it does stick very closely to the book, kind of changing minor details, but I still think this book is worth a read. Then we have the only nonfiction book on this list. Usually I like my intellectual books to really dive deep into the topic that they're about, but I like that this one took a larger topic and gave us snapshots of different people within it. And I'm going to have to read the title off the screen here. This is Blazing the Way, Match Girls, Mill Girls, and Other Fiery Females Whose Strikes Sparked a Revolution in Women's Rights by Elisa Baker, and it is 192 pages long. I remember sitting in history classes as a little girl and being frustrated by the amount of men that we had to learn about. So I loved reading this and learning about a bunch of different teenage girls and women who either started or led both women's and workers' revolutions. Like I said, it is an anthology, so each chapter focuses on a different woman and the specific cause that she was involved with. And I think, especially right now, it is very important to make yourself aware of the fact that every right that you have now, you have because somebody fought for it. If you want a classic that will make you look smart while reading it, but is also very light to carry around, why don't you try The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. It is 96 pages long, which makes it the shortest book on this list, and tells the story about a fisherman and the giant fish that he catches. It is also written with very simple language, so it is very easy to breeze through. If you're okay with absurd stories and British humor, you should read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. It is 216 pages long and begins with the day that Earth is going to be destroyed to make way for an intergalactic highway. It's ridiculous, and it's not going to be for everyone. It actually took me 2 tries to actually read it. But if you do end up liking it, there's an entire series which I'm sure is just as nuts. For the next entry, I will be cheating and recommending an entire author instead of just one book. That author is one of my all-time favorites, Agatha Christie. Her books are great because there are a ton that are under 300 pages. If you like a good murder mystery, you really can't go wrong with picking up any of her books. Personally, my favorites are anything with Hercule Poirot, so if you don't know where to start, just pick up anything with his name on the cover and you should be in for a great time. A book that was very much trendy with the kids a few years ago is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is 242 pages and is a young adult contemporary thriller. It is set on a private island and centers on the personal drama of a very wealthy family. That might sound boring, but trust me, it is not. Another social media favorite is Normal People by Sally Rooney. It is only 273 pages long, and it follows two people as their lives interweave throughout their teenage years and young adulthood. This is another one where often I just want to just shake the characters and tell them to just say what they're thinking and avoid so much drama. And also one day I will go through this and add speech marks where they are necessary because it is annoying to read a book without any. But other than that, personally, I do think this one mostly lives up to the hype. If you want something historical, try Murder at Archley Manor by Sarah Rosette. Listen, I am a sucker for the spunky lady detective trope, and this one is set in London in the 1920s. Our main character is hired to find out if her cousin's new fiancé is who he really says he is, and then a murder occurs, as the title may have told you. It's only 253 pages long, and again, this one is apparently part of a series, so there are more books for you to enjoy. The last book on my list is also the longest at exactly 300 pages, and it is Blue Hawaiian by Carla Luna. Jess is the maid of honor at her sister's wedding in Maui, which her ex-situationship will also be attending. Situationship is what the kids are calling it these days, right? Because back in my day, we just called it a fling. But either way, he broke her heart years ago, and now she is being forced to interact with him. It is cheesy and it's predictable, but it's fun, so if that's what you like, give this one a go. And that's it, that's my 12 recommendations. But what about you? What are your recommendations for quick reads? Maybe like under 300 pages? Please let me know in the comments so I have more to add to this list. And that's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope that I will see you in the next video. Bye!